coach, and we'll have opening statements from Coach Tony Hughes.
Just very excited about the progress of our team so far. With an exceptional young team, we have 35 new players that we are trying to get ready to play our first game against TCU on September 2nd. Training camp has been outstanding so far. Today we'll go out a little bit earlier at 2:45 because of the weather, and we're planning on having our first major scrimmage tomorrow, probably an hour and a half scrimmage to see what all of our young players can do, and also our 4 quarterbacks to get equal amount of playing time and reps so that we can continue to evaluate that. So we're looking at probably 125 to 150 reps tomorrow in our scrimmage. So we'll go out today, have a normal practice, come back and scrimmage tomorrow, finish up the week, and we're looking forward to scrimmage it again on this coming Saturday. But I'm happy with the development of our team, our work ethic. With the weather being so unstable, sometimes we have to change times from morning to afternoon or afternoon to morning, or bump practice up or bump practice back. And that's just part of the logistics. But one thing that we'll do is we will practice, and we will practice outdoors. And it doesn't matter, rain, shine, sleet, or snow, that we're going to get our practice time in because we have to, because we're a developmental program. So pleased so far, excited about the progress we're making, and just looking forward to continuing this training camp. I think today is day 10, and we have 29 practices before we play TCU. Out of the 29 practices, we'll have 3 scrimmages left, count tomorrow, then 2 weeks of prep time for TCU, and then school will start, and then we'll be on a normal weekly schedule as far as when school starts. And so it seems like it's a lot of time, but it's really not a lot of time. And somebody asked me yesterday, were we ready to play? No, we're not quite there yet, but we're making progress. And so by September 2nd, that's the goal, have the team prepared to play a tough TCU squad in Fort Worth.
When do you start game prep?
We'll start game prep 2 weeks before the first game. We'll have a week to prepare for TCU, but we'll take the week before and go ahead and start doing some game plan stuff and break up with scout teams and things like that.
Just to clarify for tomorrow, you said all 4 quarterbacks are getting equal reps?
Yes. Yes.
So what has stood out about that battle so far to you out of the 4 candidates?
Well, here are the positives and negatives of each quarterback. You take Brett Lyles. He's the most experienced. He's probably understands the offense more than the other 3 because he's played more. He throws well. He runs well. He's a dual threat quarterback. That's, I guess you would say, his positives. The next one, not necessarily in order, is Jordan Williams, who also has some experience, not as much as Brett, but he also has experience. And he is a great athlete and a great runner. And if he's in at quarterback, he gives us another dynamic because he is so explosive running the football. Jared Hayes is the best leader. He can get everybody lined up. He can get people to follow him. And he's got more of the intangibles. Now, he can run, he can throw. His size is a little bit different. He's not as big or tall as the other 2, or as fast, or his arm may not be as strong. But, he's a gutty competitor, competitive kid that has a lot of intangible characteristics. And then the freshman, Tavis Williams, he's got size, he's got speed, he's got arm strength. The thing that he lacks is experience. And so how do you get experience? You got to get experience. So we got to put him in certain situations in practice to evaluate him to see if he'll be ready to play, the first 3 games of the year, the 3 tough teams that we play right off the bat, and you throw a freshman quarterback in there. But if he's ready to play, we'll play him. We'll put him in there and let him play. But, learning the playbook and trying to understand the system and the things that we do, and growing up and being in college for the first time, all the things that he's trying to waver. But he's probably the best overall athlete out of the other three.
If you guys played tomorrow, who would start?
I can't say. I don't know. We may play 4 quarterbacks.
Do you want just one quarterback in a season?
I've looked at that, Rachel, from that perspective, and I'm not sure in today's football, unless you got a special guy that has the it factor, that he walks in the locker room and everybody just does whatever he says do. I'm not sure that playing 2 quarterbacks is not the way to go for us. I'm not ruling out playing 2 quarterbacks. And in the first game, who knows? We may play all 4 just to see what they can do. But no, I'm not opposed to playing more than 1 quarterback.
At other positions, can you point out some guys that you think have made a lot of progress in the offseason?
Yes, on the defensive side, defensive line, Malik Hamner had a great spring. We moved him out to defensive end to match up he and Deion Pope and Charles Anderson and Keontre Anderson, and you have some other guys coming off the bench, but he's improved drastically. Xavier Harris, backup defensive end, that also plays well in the kicking game, has really improved as a football player, kind of a pass rush specialist, if you will. On the offensive line, Charles Moffett has really improved this camp. We're trying to get him ready to play. We think he's going to have a chance to play and contribute. Vincent Sampson has to play in the offensive line. The 2 running backs, of course, the kid that had the Terrell Kennedy is the kid that had the best spring probably of anybody on the whole team, and changed the dynamic of our team because he didn't get to play as much last year because he was sick and injured part of the time. So he has really stepped up this camp. Having Carl Ollie back out there is a tremendous asset. So I can go on and on about different players. Tyler Rogers in the secondary at safety had a great spring. He's picked up where he left off. So we got the potential to have some really good players that have made some development.
How you look injury-wise? You got any guys banged up right now?
We have a few. I don't have an injury report in front of me, so I couldn't quote this, that, and the other. But it's day to day. Some of them will come back today. You're gonna get bruised. You're gonna get beat up. It's a shoulder here, ankle there, a knee there, a hamstring, a groin. That's part of football this time of year.
But you hadn't lost anybody for an extended period of time.
No. The only one out is Deshaun Tillman, who had knee surgery, and he was out all spring. And, we don't know if he'll return this season or not, but, there's a possibility he could.
Last season, you've talked a lot about establishing the running game since you came here. And Jordan Johnson was a guy last season who really showed some great spurts throughout the year. Going into this season, do you see him being a more featured option in the offense, and has he shown the initiative to kind of take that so far? Yes,
he's having an excellent camp. He is working extremely hard. He is still improving as a player and developing. So, he and Terrell Kennedy give us at the running back position a 1-2 punch that we may not have had last year. Both of them are explosive. Both of them can take the ball and go score a touchdown from anywhere on the field at any time. So being honest with you, our running back group, all of our coaches are really excited about our whole young running back group. Keyshawn Hopper, Quentin Brown has really turned heads. The kid from Monticello, Lawrence County High School. DeAndre Williams has shown up at times. Jarius Little from Picayune has showed up at times. So we've improved our running back stable. Now, it gets down to blocking and executing and establishing the run, but that's something that we have really worked hard on doing this offseason and this summer.
What is a key trait that someone like Jordan, or just a running back in general, has to really prove to you to be the consistent, dominant ball carrier?
Well, Jordan proved last year that he's a guy that can make a play out of no, sometimes there's nothing there, there's no blocking, and he can still rip off 3 or 4 yards and keep drives alive. So got great confidence in Jordan and belief that, he can be a feature back. We like to, to play a lot of kids in depth, but sometimes if a guy is outstanding, then, you tend to ice like Dan Williams last year. And anytime we're on the field, we wanted Dan in the game. So we'll just have to see as the progress goes forward.
Does it affect your team at all to not have someone specific at quarterback? Do they kind of have to mesh with whoever you put in at the time? Does it affect them at all, or not really? They just do the reps?
Not really. We're mindful of things like when Jordan Williams is at quarterback, he is very gifted at running certain plays. And so you put him in situations where it can be positive for him and the team, and you try not to ask a person to do something that's his weakness. So, for example, if I don't have a strong arm, then I'm not going to drop back and throw deep balls. And people say, well, why don't y'all throw the ball deep? Well, we don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball deep. For example, not that's the case. So when Brett Lyles is in there, for example, we probably can do more, expand the playbook. When Tavis is in there, you probably restrict the playbook, and he only does certain things that gives him confidence and the team confidence in him. So that's what you have to do, and that's part of the team process too. You have to figure out what can your team do. Some teams can line up in an I formation and run the football down people's, let's just say, I won't sit down their throat, but like the Georgia Bulldogs and the LSU Tigers, they just line up in the I and they just maul you. And people complain and say, well, why don't y'all run the spread? Why don't y'all do this? Well, nobody can stop those two teams from doing that. Well, specifically for a team like us, we have to find what we're good at, and we have to expound on those things. That's what makes us a good team. And then you take the quarterback, and it's like putting in the piece to the puzzle. Okay, here's what he can do. We know we're this type of team. And it goes into the whole team concept. It goes into the defense, because if we have a quarterback that is not going to throw the ball down the field, then we know defensively that we're going to be running the ball more, and we can play different type of defense. We're not bend but don't break. If we know we're going to be scoring real fast and scoring a lot of points, then our defense has to be blitzing all the time, because they're going to spend a lot of time on the field because the offense scores so fast. So we just have to find out who can do what and build the team around those kids and put them in situations that help us be successful.
What are you looking for out of this first scrimmage?
I want to see some young players step up. Older guys that have played a lot, Keontre Anderson, Deion Pope, Malik Hamner, Charles Anderson, Andre Lloyd, Sean Bishop. Those guys have played a lot of football. We have a process where we're getting them prepared for September 2nd. I want to see young players come into the scrimmage, into the arena, and I want to see them execute. I want to see Tavis Williams. I want to see what he can do. Give him the ball. Get out of the way, get off the field. Okay, Tavis, you're out there in front of 50, 60,000 people. Let's see if you can execute. Let's see if you can run the offense. The young running backs that I mentioned earlier, Jordan Johnson and Terrell Kennedy. I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what those guys can do. I want to see Quentin Brown and DeAndre Williams, and I want to see those guys. Not that the other kids won't scrimmage. It's just that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys to step up. Maybe it's a couple of freshman offensive linemen. Maybe it's a couple of freshman defensive backs. And we want to evaluate where we are as a team at this particular point.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about Big C coming back to the team as offensive line coach, how has been to adjust to him?
Outstanding. Coach Roberts brings stability, I think, not to just to our staff, but to our whole football program. With his experience in the conference and his experience as a offensive line coach, helps our young players because he is a developmental coach. He's old school, he's tough, he's gruff, and I love having him around because he can kind of keep me straight sometimes.